So, hi everyone. My name is Rakesh Gohel, and today we're gonna go further deep. I know a lot of presenter has covered a lot of other aspects of the things, and I will also make sure that it resonates what the NANDA is trying to do. And just to give you a brief introduction about myself, I'm the founder of JUTEQ Inc, and I've been working in AI and cloud technologies for past 25 years. And I also co-authored a book called Agentic Artificial Intelligence. Okay. Now let's talk about the AI agents. Okay, so AI agents protocols, as you already know, they are universal translators, right? That helps you to talk to different AI agents. And the whole idea is they should be who can develop that things. They should be able to talk to anybody else. Like think about your HTTP, right? Which lets your computer to connect to any web servers or anywhere in the world, as long as they have a websites, the domain name, and you can connect it, right? So without them, every AI agent speaks its own language, which is not good because we live in a world of diversity, and we need to make sure that we should be able to accommodate all kind of technologies and the things that we have, right? So I'm gonna go to the next slide. So as you can see, if you have a single agent, it's a good for boundary tasks. It works for linear pipelines. And this is where the problem happens, right? It is inefficient, like when you are talking about specialized expertise across tasks, real-time collaborations if you need, or a multi-tool actions that we need to achieve. And this is where the whole problem lies within. So that's where the multi-agent systems comes into the picture. So we are going through a history and why we have landed up right now at NANDA, right? So just to give you some brief introductions about like that history. So on the multi-agent systems are like having a team of professionals, right? You are not relying on a single agent, but like you have a manager agents, and then it like gives a task to another agents, which could be a search, data analysis, or it could be even a cloud operations they want to perform. Okay, so what are the benefits? As you can see, they have a specialized expertise across the tasks. You don't need to have one agent loaded with everything, all kind of skills and everything. The other thing is real-time collaborations. You can have one meta agents can communicate with multiple different agents, as we saw, and the multi-tool actions, which is now you can automate it with your own specific agents, right? So, okay. And there are 6 design patterns which has been commonly used and practiced in the industries, and these are being implemented by individual frameworks, right? So frameworks are good, as we can see, but then, sorry, there is a big problem with the frameworks. Different AI frameworks couldn't talk to each other. Like so far, what we have seen, the LangGraph agents couldn't communicate with the AutoGen agents, and each system has its own rules and own languages, right? Some are Java, JavaScript, some are Python. So everybody builds their own agent their way, right? So there is a gap between these multi-agent systems, like they are confined into a cloud containers, or it could be on a cloud environments, or where they can talk to each other, but they can't talk to across the systems. So what this means? This means no cooperations between the different systems. Everything had to be a custom build, which we have been already doing that by building using those frameworks. And agents couldn't find each other automatically. So that is one of the other issues which NANDA is trying to address that. So no security, I mean, there were some security standards, but like when those agents came out, like they are still confined into one particular area. And you couldn't reuse these agents. Like once you build it, like you can just reuse those agents. So here is what I find very interesting. So some people are thinking about now we have a multiple protocols which are present in the in the industries now, and there could be looks like a potential war of protocols. But I think having different option is actually a good for everyone. So basically, just like we have a different internet protocols for different jobs, let's say an example of networking, we have one for networking, one for websites, and one for email, right? And we need different AI protocols for different tasks. And this is what we are seeing right now. So as we can see, late in 2024 and early like 2025, new protocols emerged, and they actually started changing the face of AI itself, right? So the two important ones that we would like to just cover, and which has already been covered, is MCP and A2A. So MCP we saw in a detail in the Nick's presentations, which was very much detailed. So I'm not going detail into the MCP aspect of it. I will go like A2A, I can quickly cover in terms of what A2A is doing. So it handles how agents talk to other agents, as we know, and using the different frameworks, right? So AutoGen agents can talk to a LangChain agent. So this is where the A2A protocol comes into the pictures. So these protocols I see as not competing to each other, but they work together because like MCP connects the agents to the tools, and the A2A connects agents to the other agents, right? So I don't see them as a competing one. But then again, there are multiple other protocols which are present, right? As you can say, they have a different kind of approach by individual protocols that has been created by various entities and organizations. And as you can see, this momentum towards open protocol is clear, like people are doing this. And while each company has their own reasons for doing this, but they are doing this for the sake of making that one party shouldn't control the whole ecosystem, right? That's the reason people are doing towards, and that's we're gonna see as a part of the process in NANDA. So I want to go like what's further. As we can see, Sam Altman, he mentioned that it will be the year of agents. I'm not going in details there. But now here is something I would like to talk about based on what you just saw on the protocols, that you need to recognize the patterns. People are talking about network of agents, easy tool access, and the real independence, right? They don't want to rely on one party or anything. And this is why much tech companies are actually investing in open protocols, because this is where the whole world is going towards. So, and there was one evidence we found that Windsurf was actually limited by the actions what Anthropic did, and they couldn't use the model and they couldn't perform. So they needed to scramble for another alternative solutions because they were relying on a single company. And this is what the message from Varun Mohan from Windsurf CEO that what just happened to them. So if we have open models and open protocols, this is where this could have not happened. This is what we imagine that going forward. Now, this brings us to NANDA, because we saw the centralization aspects and where it lands and why everybody is doing what they are doing with individual protocols. So network agents and decentralized AI from MIT, as we see, is created for the decentralized era. And NANDA takes three different, okay, one second, yeah. So NANDA takes three big challenges: the basic problems of building the decentralized AI, creating a new registry systems for specifically for the agents, right? So we had domain name, DNS for domain names and all. We had the numbers, as we saw in the early sessions, that we have been building this kind of registries from 1940s. Now we are again in 2025, and we are building the registries for agents because we live in a new era, new world. And building the secure frameworks, this is another aspect of it, while building together in the environments that we live, right? We need to build something decentralized so that everybody can participates and everybody can have an eye on what is there, because open source solutions, many eyes can see it, and they can, if there are issues, they can be easily resolved instead of solutions which gets managed by individual company. So here is what excites me for NANDA. So it's not just the technology. I don't consider NANDA as a technology, but it's how it's being governed, right? This feels me like a Linux moment for AI. Just like a Linux made operating systems open and for everyone, it's a free. And NANDA could do the same thing for AI infrastructures. And we are moving forwards, like from world where we have a few big companies that we see, which is heavily concentrated or polarized by these big tech giants. We are talking about an AI capabilities where everybody can participate, innovate, including universities, startups, and business worldwide. Okay, so NANDA powers the ecosystems through four main abilities. As you can see, the discovery, which we saw in details how the examples were presented in the demo, the search capabilities, the authentication aspect, which is deed-based, which brings more authenticity in terms of what you can do, and the traces, the verifiable records of all the interactions which are happening against your agents. And it's built, I love these principles, like it's built on 5 different principles. The number one is the privacy, like everybody cares for it, right? And people want to protect their data. So privacy, using the way that it has been organized, it protects your data and no breaches. Verifiability, you can trust without blind faith, because you can go back to the records, the artifacts, right? The agent facts we were talking about. You can go to the agent facts, you can go to the traces and identify about all the actions which were done by a given agent. It has incentive models, which is a good stuff. The orchestrations, so combinations without central control, right? So you have a lightweight registries, and then you have individual elements, those like registries that are hosted by individual companies or on other marketplaces or anywhere. And the most important aspect, I feel, is the user experience, right? It's easy to use, like build a very good user experience, which is like, it's given to the people, like that, let the developers build these things. Right. NANDA provides a complete platform, right? It has the 4 layers. Number one is the infrastructure layers, which is the registries and databases that we are talking about. The protocols, the agent communication standards, as we are seeing, we have an adapters, which is sitting on top of the A2A protocol, so that it makes those communication and facilitates those communications. The third aspect is the developer tooling, and which is very important for any open source project, so that people can easily build these kind of applications. And the last one is like, we are not talking about any applications. We saw one of the application which Ramesh just built on the fly for Jessica. That was amazing, right? It's a real world application you can build and integrate, and you can personalize the way you want to personalize. So what's the bottom line after seeing everything else, right? Based on this presentation, what is the bottom line looks like? So here is the key insight that changes everything. And the key insight is the interoperability protocols are essential for AI agents to communicate smoothly across different systems. And without them, we are stuck with isolated islands of intelligence, right? So we don't want just an agent which is just relying, doing nothing in a corner, just helping to the organizations. But you can take this agent outside of your organizations, and it can be a part of a larger economy, the agentic economy that we are talking about. So we are moving from a single agents to a multi-agent systems or multi-agent teams, from a proprietary systems to an open protocols. This is where the whole industry is moving towards, and from centralized AI to a decentralized ecosystems where no single company controls everything. So, but here is my predictions. Like if I see everything else, I feel about the real revolution that we are seeing right now isn't just about the agent talking to each other. So that's not just talking aspect. It's not a communication aspect that is I'm focusing or seeing together. But what I see together in the coming future, it's about the agentic composability, right? So in a 5 years, businesses won't actually ask. In the next 5 years, they're not going to ask you which AI should we use. Business is not going to ask you, but they're going to ask you how do we put together the right mix of specialized agents for a business? Or it could be a consumer aspect, the consumerizations that we are talking about today. It could be an any individuals. They can represent, they can create their own agents. So think about how we build websites with different components. It's the same thing we would like to do with the intelligence that we have, which is present in a multiple models, multiple industries, in a multiple organizations is there, right?
Excellent.
So the company.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's all I think I want to say about NANDA. And the whole thing, like if I would like to talk about the NANDA's, what it represents as the next step. So again, I will emphasize that not just connecting the agents, but actually creating the infrastructures for a truly decentralized AI internet. And you
Thank
can.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rakesh. That was a fantastic overview of how the ecosystem is going to play out. And we do want to mention that there's an amazing session coming up right after this, Rakesh, that will talk a lot about interoperability. And as you said,